Right. I've called a storm, litter storm, which means it's not a burn, because when I light a storm, it's not a burn, it's a blaze of colours, and the storm is, and it's a question: should respect your neighbour override love your neighbour? Because my reasoning for that is, if respecting your neighbour overrides the love your neighbour, I think that will get us out of false love situations and bad love situations and the excuse for that. And I think that will get us out of these comfort zones and the cage. And also, if we respect our neighbour over loving our neighbour, we are not a threat to our neighbour, so we don't have to be worried about our neighbours, because naturally we would respect their own privacy and their own ways, because they would have a different way to us, which is true because everyone's unique, right? And I think that the more we respected our neighbours and allowed them to be free with their own thoughts and ways, and we wouldn't interfere with each other, I think that would cause a higher way to love each other without any disrespect. And that would be lovely. And I think that would cause a positive balance to the masculine and feminine energies everywhere. So I'm asking the great I am if that would be something that could be changed at a higher level, right? In the in the thoughts of how creation truly should be, and the concept of the commandments that we have in our all of our religions may point to those commandments. So I think we need to have a look at those commandments and make sure they're not a cage or a trick or a treat. And we need to reflect that one, because that's the first one. And also, thou shalt not covet. There's no mirror of that, because covet is to feed. So the mirror of that, if there is one, could be something to do with a chain from the first one, which is love your neighbor. So that could be a bad chain of evil thread through that. I mean, adultery is also a bit strange, because thou shalt not commit adultery. That means do not dim an adult. It doesn't mean don't have an affair. Because adultery is when an adult grows into a sovereign state, and no one messes with that. So that's also a rule that's been broken. So the great I am, we've had some rules here. I don't know if they are true. We don't know if they are true. We don't know. So I don't know what the burning bush was last time. I have no idea. And I don't know why there's a cat called Moses in the yard. I have no idea. And I don't think he landed on a wicker basket shadow, did he? In his own little river of. And fill up my yard with his river. Because I don't want Moses' river coming to my yard and upsetting my patterns. So I don't want to repeat anything to do with Moses, because Moses isn't God. So can we take that out? Because we know that's not the moss we want to grow the north face on, okay? And that's not the Ross shelf. And we don't want to be trapped under that or on it or in it. We want to be out of that so that we're off the moss and into the true ways of working and how nature works properly. So the great I am, what do you think about that? And that is you listening, anyone listening, if they're listening, your I am, what do you think that should be? Because I think our children growing up with respectful neighbours is really important to have, and karma would strike if there was any disrespect, because that's what karma would do, because the balance works with karma. And that will cause a positive community to grow naturally and river that wind to see any bad intentions or disrespect. So karma would naturally work to sort that out. So that would build a goodness, that you would get a good feeling because you're respectful, and you would get a good relationship because you would find one, because you'd be allowed to find a good relationship, because karma would know that you're respectful, and you would find a good relationship and not a bad handler, right? So there's no method of that. And if there is, you see it, and that went to sea. So we're going to try to shore this, but there's no anchor to shore. It's always going to sea, to river. And my pure water river is inside my sea. And the sea is all the way around that. That's my current. So that's not dehydrated to any grape or raisin or grapevine. So my pure water current is inside my salt sea, and my salt sea sorts shit out, and it can't, and nothing can get through that to my pureness, and my pureness is my body, and that's my pureness, and that's that water sea, which is not my river sea, and all the way around me is my salt sea, and sometimes I go into my salt sea, and sometimes I come out of my salt sea, just to do some cross-shoring because of the getting out of the zips. So I'm sort of uncrossing shores because they used a method of shore crossing in a well, one was me piggybacking my dad across a river, and one was a riptide that was turned into a zip. So that's not working, and that doesn't go through to a pattern of a zip. So no riptide went to a zip, so that's we're out of that. And no water machine is there, no fire machine is there, no earth machine is there, and no air machine is there. So we don't want a machine to do any of those elementals, of course not. So that's gone. So you see all that, and death out, because we want our elements to be pure to nature. So that's true. So I hope you agree with that. And neon communications and systems all went down because neon doesn't talk to us. We talk to each other truly, naturally, in person, and not in each other's person, okay? So when we talk to each other, we get out of in-person talking, and we talk to each other face-to-face, and we get out of face-in-face talking, and we get out of that, and we get out of all the faces, and we get to our true face, and we talk with our true face, and our true pure light form that we are, naturally, and we talk with that, and our soul sea protects us from any shit, because that's just our shore, and on the outside of that salt sea is a bigger salt sea, and there's a little shore there, that's our shield, and no one gets through that, and our shield is protected by the highest of nature, because it has to be. Every soul is protected by the highest of nature, because you're born to be protected by the highest of nature. So that's true, right? And every soul may have or may not have potential to have a pair of wings. You'll find out, okay, once we are true to who we are and natural. And I think that void has been used to make false angels. Think about how many false angels there are and who's lost their wings. Well, we might find out. So I think respecting the neighbor might get you a pair of wings, right? You never know. One day you might have a kid with a pair of wings.